was thinking, well, I've come this far, I'm not gonna miss the blessing, right? This is where, you know, the rubber hits the road, this is where, you know, the warrior spirit has to take hold. So I literally just kind of threw myself out of the hammock, crawled on all fours and back into the Maloka. I'm like, I'm gonna do it, screw it, I gotta do it. And, you know, with everything I could muster, I went into the circle and I sat down. I actually sat next to you right over there. Remember I sat next to you, and I was just, you know, intensely ill, and I'm thinking, how the hell, I'm waiting for my blessing, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to make it till the shaman gets here? I'm like, brrr.
And then you laid down, and I went, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I laid down with both you and me were like,
I laid down, and then something came to me, then a very specific vision came to me, and so one of the things I came here to heal is that for most of my life, I've struggled with, you know, different phobias and irrational fears and anxieties, and most of it having to do with claustrophobia. Like I get claustrophobic in closed spaces, I get claustrophobic in relationships. There's always like this underlying theme of claustrophobia that I've dealt with to certain levels throughout my whole life. It's gotten better now, but you know, it had been pretty bad. And I was always thinking, like, where did that come from, right? Like, where in my past was I given this ailment? Like, why? Why do I have this? And I never knew. And then, like, in an instant, as I was laying next to you, waiting for my blessing, it just, boom, it came to me. When I was a little kid, around 6 or 7 years old, we had this babysitter that used to hold my brother and I down, and she'd sit on us, and she'd give us pressure points on our wrist and hold us down, and till we'd cry. And we used to tell our mother, we don't want her to babysit anymore. You know, she scares us. And you know, and it was just so traumatic for a 7-year-old boy to have that.
Wow.
And so that as soon as that recognition came to me, I bolted. Remember, I bolted out of the room, and I bolted to the bathroom, and I just threw it up in a bucket. And I cursed her name as I threw it up in the bucket. I'm like, I can't believe that, you know, a babysitter, really? Come on. Like, you know, and I was just throwing it up in a bucket for like 5-10 minutes, just letting it go. And then I looked in the bucket, and I just forgave her. I said, you know, I forgive you. You know, there was a level of unconsciousness to your behavior. I forgive you because I need to heal. And so I forgave her. And I got up, and I remember walking out of the bathroom and just pounding my chest and thinking, that's gone. Those
Isn't that amazing,
stupid fears are gone.
You know, it's like that one little thing, that's something that happened to you that you've wore and carried your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, like for 40, 50, whatever, almost years. You know, that one little incident. And
it was such an unconscious
we're all
memory.
Like this.
Like that was not something I recollected. It's not a memory. Like, you could pay me $10,000, I wouldn't have been able to come up with that memory.
Right.
But once I had it, then it was crystal clear. I'm like, oh yeah, now, you know, it was so buried. That's what we do. We bury and repress these traumatic memories.
Push it down and
push it way down. And in an instant, it came up. And once it came out, and it came up and came out, there was just this rush of relief. And then I came back to the circle, and it was just about time for the shaman to give the blessing, and then they gave their blessings on me, and it
that's
was
when I
so
lost
profound.
it. Yeah, that was my time now to lose it, right?
Yeah, right.
But this is what happens is that, you know, like, this is why people go to therapy as an example. There's something that happens somewhere along the way. And in therapy, it's a very long, drawn-out process because you have to regurgitate. And it's like going with a little tiny, like, little pickaxe, like trying to chop a hole in a wall or a mountain. And the ayahuasca just goes boom.
It just gives it like a jackhammer.
It just gives it to you, right? This is what happened, and you, like you said, it's repressed feelings that are subdued and hidden behind a wall or a closet that your mind has created to protect
for
you.
your own protection.
To
it's
protect
the ego.
you.
The ego is protecting.
Says you didn't see that. You didn't experience that because your mind is so underdeveloped and your emotions cannot handle that. So we're just not going to let you see it. Oh, it never happened, and then it sits inside of you and it percolates. And a lot of times we have this, and it comes out in our not only our behaviors, but it comes out in disease, right? So it comes out in a cancer. It comes out, you know, it could be irritable bowel syndrome. It could end up being something autoimmune. You know, it could come through all of our skin, and you know, the way that our clarity of our mind, and it shows up in so many different ways. So ayahuasca is just like, you know, it's like boom, it's right in there.
Gets right to the core.
It flowers it out. You don't have to do really anything except for totally
You
release.
just have to allow it. You have to
You have to
surrender.
allow.
It.
Totally allow, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what I did on night
Trust.
number 3. I wanted it so bad, and I pushed and I pushed, and I got nothing.
Right.
Like, she didn't open up to me, and I found out later that's the reason why, is because I wanted it. I was pushing it, and I didn't relax it and let it happen.
So
And,
one of the techniques that I would use, because it is all about surrender and trust, right? The relationship with Mother Aya is about surrender and trust. So as the medicine would start to come on, you could feel the physical effects. For me, like the teeth would start to chatter.
Yeah.
Did your teeth chatter at all?
no, not
Like I
so
could
much.
feel like an intense feeling in my teeth, and then the chatter, and then I would feel the rush in the body. So I would lay back in like in a you know, like when a dog surrenders, it
Yeah.
lays on its back, and I would lay back in a position of ultimate surrender with my legs like this, and like with my hands like
Right,
this,
yep.
and just allowing her just a complete surrender, right? Because the mind is going to follow the body. So
Yep.
the body's surrendered, the mind is surrendered. So I go into
Beautiful.
submission
Great.
pose basically. And,
Wow.
so I allow her to just come in and do what, you know, I tell her, I said, Mother Aya, do what you need to do. Show me what I need to see. Do
Yeah.
what you need to do, and I'm surrendered to you.
Tell me what I need to hear.
Yeah.
Because when we were sitting in the circle, I ended up kind of releasing, because I was struggling and fighting to stay in the circle, because I was this close, constantly to vomiting. And when the shamans came around, and I had 4 shamans come and work on me, you know, one after another, that's what they do in the circle, to release your energies, to realign them. Because if you're a little fragmented, they want to put you back in your space so you can do the work. If you're too out there, you're not going to get what you want. So they did this with me, and then the last one was Leonardo. Was the head shaman. Because I told him what I was going through prior to.
Yeah.
So he looked at me and he goes, "Okay," and he says, "Now's the time." And he worked his energy on me. I literally got up and I almost dove onto my bed.
Oh yeah.
And I laid there, and I just totally surrendered. So it was like, I remember it was like almost like, you know, you hear a little knock, knock, knock on the door. So now pretend I'm gonna go open the gates to a castle or a big kingdom. These massive doors. And there goes Ken walking up to the door, and he hears a little knock, knock, knock. And I go to open the door, and there's a freight train on the other side.
That's
And
how it
just
feels.
went boom! And
That's it.
I got flattened. And I ended up being in a fetal position, sobbing, weeping, crying, retching unbelievably.
Oh, I know
As
that feeling, brother.
Pain came out, and the other guys that were around me at that time came and comforted me and consoled me, and like, they, you know, 2 of them had tears in their eyes watching what I was going through, because I was there for 2 hours going through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
To just put it all out of me, the part of me that I've never liked, all came out. And as I looked at these guys, they looked at me and they had tears in their eyes. And the love that I felt from my fellow man and everybody else in this room, because other people were witness to it that were around me. And then I started crying more because of that love. And
Because of love and compassion you were shown, right?
Yes.
So that's the dance, right? So
Yes.
our brothers can be going through something difficult, and then we're helping them, and then next night they're helping us, or our sisters.
And this is the difference with here as opposed to, you know, silently suffering at home. You know, we go, let's say, you know, we go through therapy or whatever, and then we go talk to the therapist, and we leave the therapist's office. Where do we take that? What do? You sit in your car and you go like, I'm like having a breakdown. Who do I talk to now? No, I can't go home to the person I'm having all the problems with.
Right.
Or I can't go home and share this with that person.
Well, that's part of the program at Rythmia is doing it in such a group.
Yeah.
The group support, you know, it's part of the formula.
Yeah.
Without the group support, I don't know that you have the same results, right?
Right.
And
as
just,
men, we've shared stuff that you just
like
don't do it.
Yeah, we talked about, like, we've formed closer relationships and bonds this week with people that were strangers last Sunday than we people that we've known 10, 20, 30 years in our default lives, right?
Right.
Because what do you talk about when you go meet your friend? You talk about sports or the weather. You know, you don't talk about your childhood wounds, right?
No.
And when you come and you meet someone at a depth that we meet them at this week, and when you're holding someone's, you know, hand as they're throwing up in a bucket, like that is a bond, right? That is a lifelong bond, and it's a beautiful thing that you do not get to experience typically in normal daily life, and it's so beautiful.
And these are relationships too. That here's a beautiful thing is that I know anytime I'm going to be near your neck of the woods, I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to see you because you and I share the same light.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true is that you know when you experience this little shift, you very much identify with this love, very very deep centered love, with these other people that you meet here, because this is the only place I've ever been that I've been on to be on this level.
Yeah.
And then when you get that with other people, there's a brotherhood or a sisterhood.
You've gotten your enlightenment together, so to speak.
It's never going away.
Yeah.
And you're going to look for it, and you're going to keep talking, and you're going to keep growing and building and supporting.
And to see the arc from the first night in so many people, right? So you get to hear stories. You know, people will speak up after the night. We'd have an integration group right here, and people would speak up. And you know, one lady was, you know, I wrote a suicide letter to my children because I was so distraught and I just didn't want to be alive anymore, and I tore that letter up, right? Or the girl who hated the fact that she was born, and now she's dancing for joy. Or the woman who lost her child and it was basically catatonic, and now she's, you know, ziplining and having fun, you know, at the end of the week. So the arc of what people have gone through, and you know their stories, and you hear their stories, and all week long, you know, you'd be around the campus and you'd see somebody and you'd sit down next to the stranger who you hadn't met yet. Now you want to meet them. You say, so what's the source of your pain? And you just sit there and you listen, and they tell you what the source of their pain is, and you share your pain stories together, and like, it's okay. We were gonna heal together, you know, and it's so powerful. 'Cause when you said something earlier about being in the fetal position, my first night, my hell night, when the shamans came out to get me at the end of the night, and they found me in the hammock, I was in a fetal position, fucking my thumb.
It's funny how we go back there, right?
Right? Because it was a birth, right? Like that whole night was a birth, a rebirth. And I didn't even realize I was doing it until they shook me and I was like, huh?
What's this in my mouth?
What? I don't suck my thumb, really. So it's just so powerful, the things that we do and that we see this week, and such a transformative experience.
It's very, very crazy here. And just one more thing I want to add here before we go, that you know, the facility here is really top notch. You know, it's very safe. Everybody that's here is here for the same reason. They've got a beautiful gym here. They've got a spa that's set up.
Mud baths.
We had mud baths, together.
That's
that was
cool,
awesome.
right?
And a beautiful pool. The food here is incredible.
Oh, the food.
It is all organic. It's all vegetarian.
Oh, Meg.
Meg, who puts this together, is phenomenal. And of course,
the yoga in the morning,
yoga,
the
meditation,
classes,
and then there's classes. Today there's a class on relationships and love, workshops. There's just like, come here and of course, we got to thank the guy who did all of this. Jerry Mann. Jerry Powell. He's the guy's a gift from the universe, definitely.
He was called and he answered the call big time, and you know, I called, you know what I called him the other day at lunch? I said, Jerry, you know who you are? You're Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island.
Yes, that's it, exactly.
Seriously, he's created this environment of this Shangri-La. The fact that this place even exists on planet Earth is, are you kidding me? Right? And I was thinking, you know, there's 7 billion people on the planet and there's 80 beds in this facility, right? Out of 7 billion people, every week only 80 people get to come here. Like, how amazing is that?
It's phenomenal.
To be given this blessing, this gift. It's just phenomenal. It's a brotherhood and a
sisterhood,
and a fraternity that, you know.
It's a fraternity.
You know, you graduate from soul school here. You know, it's like boot camp for the soul. And once you graduate, you know, you get your diploma and you go out in the world and you're a light worker and you spread your love, you spread your light, and you want to do the YouTube videos, you want to blog, you want to do all this because you want to show other people that whatever they're going through, they can heal too, right? Because, you know, hurt people, but also healed people heal people. So once we're healed and when we're vibrating at this level of you know, that we get this week, we want to spread that. Like, it's just, you're compelled to want to spread it, and it's a beautiful thing.
And you know, the thing, you know, when you are in that new presence, that emanating, that energy that you are, that you're also, you know, people will gravitate to you.
Right.
You know, all things will start gravitating. So your life will, you will attract the energies that you put out. So when you are a positive, beautiful being, those other beautiful, positive things come your way.
Right.
It's a magnet, you know, we all know.
Because as you change, the things around you change, right?
100%.
Because your relationship to those things change, so.
Yeah, so if you're pissy, you know, what do you get back,
Yeah.
right? And so you become, everything changes in your life. So, you know, if they charge I said this to Jerry the other day, I said, you charge $20,000 for this, that would be all day, it would be worth it. Not that we want that to happen.
Right.
But it's just an incredible experience. And for me, you know, if I give this a 5-star, if there was, you know, if I could give it 6, or there was a scale of 6, I would give it 6. Or if it's out of 10, I give it a 10.
Absolutely.
They hit the
How do you
note,
put a price tag on
everything.
it?
You can't.
You know, I would tell people, like, you know, whatever you pay $3,000 or $4,000 for the week or what have you, it's like, if you had your last $3,000 in your bank account,
Do
there
it.
wouldn't be a better way to spend it.
Yeah, yeah.
What else would you do
Yeah.
with that money? Like,
Yeah.
this is the best, you know, it's the best money you could ever spend. How else
Because
how
it'll
can you spend
shift.
better money?
It'll shift your
Shifts
life.
everything else.
That you'll make that 3,000 back 300,000 times.
Do the one thing
Yeah.
that in so doing makes
Yeah.
everything else great,
Yep.
right?
So anyway, I want to thank you all. This was great. I want to thank you very much, buddy.
All right, brother.
And, you know, please subscribe and like as well, too. Thanks for joining us at Go Find Yourself, and have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Thanks.